Welcome. Thank you for joining me. You're here at What the Frap with J-Zilla. I have a special guest today, none other than the Captain, Paco Liggons. Welcome. How are you, my man?
What's up? What's up? I'm good. I'm good. It's Demario though. Yeah, I go
Oh,
with Demario. I go
Demario
by the government.
Liggons.
Yes.
See, I was wondering.
It's
I was wondering something.
if somebody cuts a check, it's got to say
It's got to
Demario.
say Demario. Be sure to cut that check, please. Oh, I hope that comes through. That is awesome. So yeah, you know what? I've known you for a long time, man. A long time.
It has
Where
been.
did the name Paco come from, man? I feel like I've heard this story. It's back there in the archive somewhere.
Um, my father, he wanted to name me Paco,
Mm.
and then my sister found out where he pulled the name Paco, and they didn't like that. You know what I'm
Was that a
saying?
family
So they shut
secret?
it down.
Where did he pull the name Paco from?
I think they had like a cat named Paco or something, and he really liked the
Well,
name.
that's a good name. I'm gonna name my first son that. Or not my first
Uh,
son. Shout out to Cal. Yeah, I didn't know that. And the captain. For those of the people,
okay.
for the people out there who don't know, who may not know who you are, which I couldn't imagine, the captain has his own very own podcast. Who That Podcast? He goes Facebook Live Sundays. So where did the captain come from? Nice, bro.
It's the captain actually came from another podcast,
Mm.
Tea Talks. They give everybody their name, and they call me Captain Crunch. I
Oh
come through in the crunch.
man, Captain Crunch. That really reminds me of. Have you seen that stand up special? I think it was Bill Bellamy, where he's talking about how freaky people get in the chat room, and then so
I
he's trying to keep up with them, and he's like, "Have you ever had a man pour Apple Jack cereal down your butt crack, and let the crumbs seep through? Send,
yeah.
right?" This is him typing. Yeah, well, it wasn't because I know how T-Toss rolls, man. So I'm always
Right.
I'm thinking like why they arrive to Captain Crunch, you know?
Well, we were talking about these positions, and I told him this position that I liked on the corner of the bed, and you put the knees up to the ears, and you hang it right over the edge of the bed, the corner of the bed, and that was how to crunch.
I got
And
this
they said
from Jasmine.
captain of the what's that?
I got this from Jasmine. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So go from the top. I'm gonna use my pen to try to figure this out. Go.
See, your pins don't have joints. You need joint. You got to be able to bend the knee to the ears.
The knees to the ears. Oh my goodness. Nope. Yep. Even the pins aren't that flexible. I couldn't imagine, man. I'll just leave that. I'll leave that to you.
Right.
So a brief history of us. So we go back to middle school, E.A. Cox Middle School.
Yes.
Football teammates. I mean, right on up there to Spring Hill High School, man. So we go quite a ways back. You know, what's one of your best memories about those times?
Let me tell you, when I went to EA Cox, it was my first time seeing a student get arrested by a police officer. So I instantly felt like I was like in the movie Lean on Me. I was like, what is this shit? They are fighting. Okay, they're fighting. The teachers aren't coming. Oh, and here are the police. They're arresting them. I was like, these are children getting arrested. I was a child looking at children getting arrested by police officers.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're not gonna put anybody on blast, but I would be very interested to know who that was. If you remember, just text me or something. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a brief history of us, our ghetto school. But how did you get your concept for the show and other business ventures?
Well, for me, I was always pretty good at technology. So if some software came out or some new this and that came out, I could download it. This is before the days of YouTube, when you actually had to click around and click buttons and figure out stuff. So for me, I was able to just pick up on things with technology. Now, even with YouTube, even faster. So I got this concept of instead of spending money on just things for enjoyment, like I wanted to spend money and time on things that I could reinvest and make more money and time.
That's important.
So everything nowadays is based on technology. DJing, my DJ setup that I have, literally runs through an iPad and connects into a
Mm,
board that connects into Spotify, and I stream all my music, and I'm able to scratch and find music. So then I don't even have to bring CDs and stuff. So it's just smart.
right.
So with graphic arts, I have to do graphic arts because I do photography, because I do videography. Like all of it ties together. So you learn to do a little bit of graphics for your video work, and then since you know how to do graphics now, well, then you can do marketing and album covers and everything like that.
Wow.
I can do music videos, which in turn means I can do commercials, which in turn means I can do media for your company for online
Wow.
content. So it's just a matter of taking the skills that you know and twisting them into a way to make money.
That's really interesting, man. My uncle used to say something. I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head, where no matter what gift you give your significant other, make sure it's something that can go back into the house into you. Which sounds super
Right,
slimy, but he's like, "Hey, she want her foot. Get her a foot massager, right? Get her like I got my
right,
wife a pasta maker, and I have definitely benefited from that. So I like that concept
right,
of, I'm going to work this job, reinvest into the company, and utilize my talents and my passions in order to do other things and boost my other ventures. That is really cool, man.
right. Yeah. I mean, even with what you're doing
Mm,
right now, okay, you're doing a
yes,
podcast,
sir.
all right? So you've got a video broadcasting. So guess what? You have the ability to offer companies and
Mm,
weddings and all this stuff a way of broadcasting their things via the web,
wow.
their events, their coverage of their wedding, of their meeting. If they don't have that know-how, then you can broadcast, you can come in, set your cameras up and broadcast that
Oh,
service for
wow.
them. Oh, we've got to distance ourselves due
COVID.
to
Yeah.
COVID. Well, that's okay. I can come in there with 3 cameras, hook it up to OBS,
Nice.
and I can broadcast this wedding out to, you know, your family members that can't attend. Well,
Wow.
how are you paying? How much is this going to
Uh-huh.
cost? You could be nice and be like, hey, it's going to cost, you know, $200, but think about it. That's $200. You don't have to give to a caterer. It costs you more to pay for the
Wow.
caterer to have the food provided than it would for me just to broadcast to them their home. You'll spend way more on a caterer. You'll spend 2-3 grand on a caterer, depending on how
Mm,
many people. Instead, you
mm,
spend $200 with me, and guess what? You don't have to pay 2 grand.
man.
So flip it even more. You want to be a greedy bastard? I charge $40 a person to log in. I'm gonna give you 40 passwords to log
Wow.
into the
Yeah.
site. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like you can do whatever you want.
Right.
But it's just a means of being able to flip it.
That's amazing, man. I would have never thought of that. Yeah, I got. I'm taking
E-hustling.
my. No, I'm telling you, I'm taking notes over here. Yeah, look,
Look.
I have the energy, I have the passion, I have the drive, right? All that stuff.
Right.
The direction, the know-how, not quite yet. That's what I'm working on. But everything that I'm
It
doing,
comes in
everything
time.
I'm doing is trying to self-improve and just improve my situation. So when my family, the next generation is coming up, they're leaping from a higher platform, and maybe they don't have to jump as high to get to where they're comfortable and have some semblance of security. So that's what I'm aiming for.
Right.
So what would you say?
Right.
What would you say were some of your earlier goals? Because when people get started, it can be a little rocky, a little shaky. So talk about the
Right.
earlier days of all of your businesses.
When I first got started, when I first graduated high school, what I wanted to do was go, and we're talking about 2004. I wanted to go to Florida and learn how to do animation,
Mm.
and do like Pixar and
Oh
all that type
wow.
of stuff because I feel like that was the future. And I mean, it was the future at the time. And with my parents or my mother, they were, they're old fashioned deep South. They weren't in tuned.
Right.
African Americans altogether weren't in tuned with technology like we are
Right.
today. And they were like, no, no, there's not going to be any money in that.
Wow.
I'm like, any
Uh-huh.
money in that? But how do you at 18 explain to your, 50, 60-year-old
Right.
mother that, the computer animation is the
Yeah,
future?
man. it's weird hearing those stories from people like Elon Musk, who like his mom just like, yeah, you're a special child. Go for it, man. You know, for my mom, she was like clean a
Right.
room, do what they say at school, and eventually something to happen
Right.
good. You know, it wasn't a real plan. It wasn't broken down. There was no dialogue either. You know, back in the day, you know, kids didn't have rights back in our day. You know, it was do as I say,
No.
not as I do,
No.
or you know, or else, right? And I'm
Or
really trying to
else.
change that with my kids, and it's hard because I'm just like, I know if you do it exactly like I tell you to, you know, that coaching half of my brain, just listen to me, do exactly like I said. I'm telling you, it's gonna work out great for all involved, and just that
Right.
hubris, you know, like maybe I'm wrong, maybe they're on to something. You know, that's one thing I definitely
Right.
want to look into. You know, I'm definitely going to be attacking Gen X in the future, you know, ventures, but I got to work on my
Yeah.
patience, man. I'll tell you what, boy. Yeah. So that's some really good advice.
I I I think the best thing you can teach a kid right now, since we're in the information age, the best thing you can teach your kid is how to locate the answers, not necessarily what the answers are.
Oh,
If you can teach a child how to research, they're unstoppable. They'll
yeah.
never have
I
to ask
like
you
that.
another question.
I saw something where they
Yeah.
were talking about they don't teach you what to think about, but how to think. Right? That's supposed to be the
Right.
idea behind, you know, all this liberal arts, you know, education, all this stuff. Right? The universities, especially.
Right.
But now it's kind of like battle lines are drawn, and okay, if you're on this side, here's what you need to believe. Right? If you're on that side, you know,
Mhm.
you're wrong. You know, so but they're supposed
Right.
to be teaching you how to think, like being stuck in traffic. I can be mad and road rage, and I know I'm guilty of that quite often. You know, as my producer will attest to. Right? Yeah. So that watching that video where it talks about like you know maybe think about what's happening, maybe draw a fun scenario or you know maybe an emergent scenario of like they realize their child is in trouble and they're driving crazy in order to get to them. So maybe you can sympathize a
Hmm.
little bit and not stress yourself out. You know, so I
Right.
like that. Teach kids how to think and how to locate answers, how to research. Wow.
Yeah. That's. I mean, think about it. If you lock down and you teach this child how to find answers
Mm-hmm.
to different things, like eventually you become obsolete,
Mm-hmm.
and what becomes the president is how to find it. You know, like, oh, I don't need to ask dad where it's at because I know I can go on Google and it'll tell me
Right.
exactly where it
Right.
is, and be correct.
And make no
You
mistake
know what I
about
mean?
it, I am trying my best to be obsolete. Like I know, well, probably
Right.
not. It'll probably hurt when it actually happens for a little while, but I just keep having that picture
Right.
of me and my producer on the beach, you know, just kicking back, not
Right.
anxious and worried about like, oh man, I wonder if my child is okay and all this kind of stuff. Like that never goes away, but you can lessen it. Excuse me, you can lessen it to a certain degree, you know. So that's what I'm aiming at. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of your earlier goals that you've actually accomplished? Because I know my producer and I, we have this prayer board going, and on one side is things that we're
Mhm.
asking for, and on the other side things that have actually come to fruition. And I'm really looking at it, and it makes a huge difference in our lives, seeing like, man, stuff is actually happening. We're actually moving forward. It don't seem like it. So my question for you is, what goals did you have in the beginning or thereafter that have actually, you know, come through for you? If you don't mind sharing that.
Okay. I you can really speak things into existence in a way. And for me, my goals were
Mm-hmm.
weird. I had a bunch of weird goals. Like, I don't know if you remember like the parties I
Oh
used to
yes,
throw back in the day.
yes sir.
And so like I figured out at an early age that entertainment equaled money.
Oh,
So I knew as long as people were doing things they were having fun doing, they were paid to do them. So my goals were never like, oh, I want to be an astronaut or oh, I want to do this. I was like, I'm gonna throw this party and I'm gonna make 5 Gs tonight.
wow,
You know what I'm saying?
ambitious.
And I would rent like you remember I used to rent the backstage out as a
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
kid and oh not at 20 and 30 years old. We're talking about at 17.
Yeah.
We're renting out nightclubs on their off nights for teen parties just to make 5 grand.
Right.
And I
Right.
just the goals I set, it was to own a house, which I do now. That was
Mm-hmm.
something. but I knew it took
Right.
money to get there. So, I'd be like, okay, I need to figure out a way to make, 10 grand in 6 months,
That is
and
awesome, man.
right. And then and it was just like the building blocks, and you learn so much. I went on tour with Webby and Boosie, and
That's a heck of a
that,
combination.
right, that wasn't a goal for me. I was just at night at a nightclub filming, making money. And I'm like, I need to figure out a way to take this to another level to make money. And the guy walked up and asked me, "Hey, would you want to go on tour?" And I didn't even know who I was going on tour with. I was just like,
Yeah.
well, how much is it,
Oh, let's talk turkey, right?
So, right. I didn't care if I was going on tour with the left boot. You know what I'm saying? Like an old stinky shoe. If the money was right, me and that shoe riding together,
I hear that, man. Not being
So,
picky. I'm
they
sure.
told
Oh, go ahead.
No, I said they told me, and I went on the tour,
Hmm.
which was fine. And I mean, I learned a lot. It was a week-long tour. I learned a lot.
Wow.
But after that, I really realized that I was only gonna do like passion projects from now on. And I was like, this celebrity life is not.
Yeah, not
I
quite
thought
what
it
it
was.
cracked up to be, huh?
No, there's a lot of bullshit and smoke and mirrors, and
Mm.
I was just like, and they offered me to move to Louisiana, and they were gonna pay for everything for a year,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to turn them down. I had my daughter. My daughter was just
Yes.
leaving my kids behind. So then from there, like a year or two later, they called me and they asked me if I'd go to Atlanta. I guess they had relocated their headquarters to Atlanta, which
Wow.
obviously is a smart move because that was like the southern capital for hip hop at the
Right, man.
time.
The Mecca.
Right.
Yeah.
So I turned that down too. Then I was all the way out by then. I was like, I don't want to deal with none of y'all,
Right.
I turned things to like business moves because a lot of people like in the urban industry, we start doing film and photography,
Mm.
and like we start doing graphics and producing and all that stuff, and we look at it and we're like, oh, we automatically gravitate towards hip hop or rap or some sort of things. And I realized it really quickly that, companies like Cigna Healthcare and stuff like that are going to pay me quadruple what a hip hop artist is going to pay me for less work.
How old were you at this time? The tour between that light bulb moment.
I would put that Star was born in 2008. Oh, wow. So we would say like maybe 2009, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was when the song 612s was real big, and right after Independent, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
That was like the two songs they were really pushing.
I don't know how much of that I can sing. You said 08, 06, 08?
No, about 08, 09.
08, 09. Yeah, I'm just thinking about how this weird Venn diagram that exists, right? Where you have your how young and youthful you are, right? How good your ligaments are, your body is still pretty tight, your metabolism's up, your health, all that stuff. And it kind of that point where it crosses with your experience and your wisdom and your knowledge. And I'm really interested in how to get those things to intersect at a younger age. I'm very interested in people like yourself and others who just really have these moments of like, I mean, you're talking about 17 years old and you're like, you know what, I can make $5,000 by throwing this party, while we're all just in the educational or the academic rat race of just like, oh, just get his, get that GPA up, get to a school and get some sort of vocation after that, for a lot of us.
How does that work out though?
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's one of those things that is kind of stereotypical to try to aim for things like that, right? Nobody individualizes it like, maybe I'm not supposed to go to college. Maybe I'm supposed to go to barber school and make some money that way, But we all kind of latch on to this ideal of just take these steps and then boom, success is going to magically happen. And instead of really understanding what you want, what you can do and contribute, So I've always been interested in people who just are go-getters.
Want me to say the key to success? I know it.
Say again?
You want me to tell you the key to
Ooh,
success?
please.
The key to success, financial success now, not mental
Mm.
goals and all that stuff. Financial success is residual income. If you can get 7 streams of residual income, you'll become successful.
7
Financial.
streams.
Yep, of residual income.
I love that.
Think about it. If you can make money doing something one time and consistently bring in money afterwards for that one thing you did, that's how you accumulate wealth. You can be over here bringing in money off of a project you did 2 years ago. In those 2 years, you're over here making money off of a project you're doing then. Then those 2 years pass. Now those two products are working for you, and they're bringing you money in. Okay, and you can start on project number 3 or whatever business venture number 3 is to bring in money. It's residual income, man. If you can get those, if you can get 7 streams of income, you're wealthy.
I always wanted that too, because if you think about like Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, the Kennedys that had the famous Kennedy compound, you know, I've always been curious about like how do you maintain something like that? And you know, I've got my producer who heard beautifully cough in the background there.
Yeah, I'm about to hit this vape and cough with her.
Get that synergy going. But yeah, so really how they obtain it, hang on to it, grow it, maintain it, right? And
well, the families you just named have generational wealth.
yeah,
That's a whole nother thing.
yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So you're talking about building.
Yeah, like us as African Americans, our family, you know, not all of us, there's exceptions to every rule, but we get like, you know, we have a house that mom bought and she lives, but as soon as mom gets old, well, for step number 1, as soon as your ass turns 18, 19, you got to get a job. You got to get the fuck out. You know what I mean? Then mom gets old. She, you know, she might not have that generational wealth built up. So what is the first thing she do? She sells her family home and goes and lives in some retirement community where she's paying rent off of the home she just sold. And then, bam, the money, when she's dead, the money's gone. There's just enough money to bury her and whatever. Right. So then let's flip to Jim Bob White family over here.
Jim Bob White family.
Okay.
I love that family.
Yeah. So they had, and I'm being racist, I'm just putting labels for conversation, okay? So then they're over here, and they're like, oh, this is my great-great-grandfather's house. You know, we've had 10 family members live here. So at 10 points in 10 family members' lives, where maybe they didn't have a bunch of money or anything, and they were hard up for a minute, they've lived in this house that's been paid for. They're living for free. Y'all are splitting the bills. Y'all are getting on your feet till you get out or till you die.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So that's a part of it. Property is a part of it. Oh, this family home, I know I can always come here. I can get all the way down and out, and I don't have to be on the street on drugs. I can go to Jim Bob Blue's house.
Go back home to mama.
Yes, and go right there. And, you know, no, we would never sell this house. My son can have this house. Okay, the son gets the house. He does pretty good. He goes and buys his own house. Does he sell his great-great-grandfather's house? No. What does he do? He rents it for another stream of income until, you know, he's tired of renting it. Then he boots the renters out, and maybe, you know, cousin Cassie needs to go in there. You know, it's different ways we need to start doing things.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is ownership, but then also the mindset to where that's a goal for you and generations to come.
Right.
Yeah. Where do you think that kind of skewed from? I mean, I know look, black people in this country had a raw deal from the get-go, you know, drug here and, you know, but
it's education. It's we haven't been taught how to do it. We haven't been taught how to do this. My family hasn't done it. My mom right now has a home she's considering selling. That home's big enough for 2 families to live in.
Wow. Yeah, your childhood home, right?
Yes,
oh man, all that land?
Yes.
Wow.
So like for me, I'm like, dude, I'm never selling my home.
Mm.
This house is never getting sold. It sits too close to the college.
Mm-hmm.
I can buy something else. I can turn it into, it's 5 bedrooms right now. I can block these bedrooms. You lived in college towns. I can
Mm-hmm.
block each bedroom off with a key lock and put 5 different students for $400 a month in this bitch.
Yeah. Oh my
You
goodness,
know?
yes. And that college land is some premium spots, right? Especially if they
Yeah.
want to expand or something. You know, they come knocking on people's
I
doors.
bought this house for 80 grand.
Mm.
Okay. It values at with the addition, it should be like 252 now, you know?
Mm.
Look at that markup.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't
We
know,
got to
man.
figure out how to get this type of information. Not only get it out, but get it out there in a way where it seems appealing. Because there's a lot of people out there that's like, man, get out of here with that, man. I'm trying to get this money over here. Like, what's so
Right.
appealing about the other revenue streams that may get you, I don't know, locked up or, you know, shot up or, you know, that sort of thing.
Misinformation. People, and then we live in an era of instant gratification.
Yes, that's true.
People don't want to build nothing up. They don't realize it's a slow grind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a get the bag. You know, you heard that.
All in my bag, trying to get the bag. Yeah.
Yes, and yeah, that's cool, but you might get them cuffs.
It's a strong possibility, right? Or somebody else who doesn't.
If you really risk that, if you're willing to risk it, that's on you.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to, you know, take them risk. You know what I'm saying? No, I got kids and I like women. Like, I don't want to sit locked up with a bunch of dudes looking at each other. You know, you show up, they like, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be there with y'all, you know?
Right.
So, I don't know, bro.
I appreciate those FX, by the way. I feel like I'm inappropriately laughing for the wrong time, but I can't help myself. I definitely take it serious. But so the community that you know, the type of business that we're in, right, this media stuff, you're asking the community like, hey, trust us, you know, support us and all that kind of stuff. What are some of the ways that you give back, you and your partner there? Shout out to Brandon.
Last year we did a tattoo competition for the tattoo community. It was free. You know, you just show up, and we had food vendors and we had entertainment. People came out and sang and performed and read poetry and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's one of those things, you just figure out what you can do within your means without going upside down. And I was like, all right, if we can find a space, which Joe at Revolution Inc. provided us a space, you know, we can find a space, we can have vendors. No, we didn't give away free food, but you can buy your own food. You know what I mean? And here are the food trucks. They're all in one location. You don't have to go run around town and find them all.
Right.
You know? And then our musicians, they came in and they wanted to perform. So we gave them a platform with people to perform. And our people that did the poetry, they always want to share. There's not enough places for them to share. So, and they're there with people, and it's just a mingling of arts that's going on. You know, music, poetry, tattoos, you know, and people, tattoos just not just tattooing, that's drawing and, you know, colors and effects. So it's just all this art swirling together with food. Food's an art too.
Oh, absolutely,
you know?
Man. Shout out to those chefs out there.
So they're all good together. Yeah. Right. And it's just, that's the type of stuff we do. Now, as far as like, we use our platform for people to express the things they're passionate about. Okay. When GM went on strike, we went out to the bridge, set up, went live on their picket line on their Solidarity Day.
Oh, wow.
We did that. We let them come onto the podcast, use our platform to tell the world why they were doing what they were doing and that they weren't just being greedy. Okay.
Yeah, I see.
So a lot of people thought they were just being greedy, and like, no, look, we need to have you come on and tell the world what this is really about. And that's the biggest way we give back. We share the platform we built with the community.
That's awesome, man. And giving good quality work is a good way to promote yourself too. I mean, it's like one hand washing the other. That is
Exactly.
great because a lot of people. I wonder why people actually, when you see these stories on the news, they're like, "Oh, look at these, NBA, NFL players going on strike or sitting out, mini camp or whatever." Why
Right.
do we tend to go on the side of corporate? The ownership, right? Like, why am I on the side of Jerry Jones when I'm probably closer to a guy who may have a little athletic ability and may be closer to the actual players? And like the GM strike, I'll definitely have a better chance from right now to be a union employee versus the owner of the plant in the executive offices. Why do we tend to do that?
I don't know. It's I can't really explain that.
Mm,
People, number one, we already have our stipulations about pro athletes and like the amounts they make.
right.
Some people feel like they're overpaid. Some people feel like, oh, they put a lot of hard
Yeah.
work and da da da. And I'll be honest with you, I tend to go on the overpaid side,
Really?
even though I appreciate our athletes, and just as
Right.
much
Right.
as I know, we know how much is put into that,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I stopped watching pro sports altogether.
Really?
I did. I was
Huh.
sitting at a bar, and I ran up a $200 tab, drinking, eating wings, watching sports.
Mm.
And something that happened, somebody got mad and got escorted off or something, And I was sitting there watching it, and I got my tab, and I looked at it. I was like, I just paid $200 to sit here and watch these dudes
Yeah.
play. You play sports,
Right.
play. I just watched them play, and they're making like $50 million
Yeah.
contracts and
Yeah.
stuff. And I was like, nah, y'all don't need my money
Okay.
anymore. You know what I'm
So
saying?
you telling me the captain spent $200 watching the Titans lose by a field goal last minute?
Right. And I'm just like,
Mm.
bruh,
I'm thinking
what
about
are you
this
doing? Like,
because I'm gonna actually take the other side of this. I think they're vastly underpaid. If you look at the percentages of how much they make, TV contracts, all this stuff, the owners and the league itself, and how much they actually, what percentage they get paid, they're vastly underpaid, especially risking their lives, their livelihood, their health. And I'm telling you
nah.
what,
Yeah, bro.
teachers, firefighters, policemen, as soon as they start selling out, I don't know, VIP seats for $2,000 to come watch a crime scene investigation, I guarantee you their pay will go up as well. And there'll probably be some other
Hold on, just a
people
sec.
complaining about how much they.
Let me chime in
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah. Go ahead.
Hold on. Let me chime in right here.
Your FX are killing it, man.
Bruh, let me tell you what.
Uh-huh.
If you put some bleachers in front of a burning building, or you put some bleachers in front of a crime scene shootout, I'm there, baby.
Well, I'm telling you, the
I'm
police
there.
officers, look, they have a union. The fire department have a union. The teachers union is huge. Like, hey, figure something out, man. And I'm all for
So
paying
here's
them.
the deal, though.
Yeah.
Talking about them risking their lives, let me tell you a story, a General Motors story,
Mhm.
right? So I had got a job in the building. The building was called the CUC building. It's where all the chemicals dumped out of the plant, okay?
Mhm.
Whenever they'd filter water and whatever it may be. One day I went in training for just a random out of the blue, hey, we need you to take this training. Me and my partner that works in this building.
Okay.
So we're there, and we get a call over the radio that a fork truck had punctured a vat of sulfuric acid.
Whoa.
Now, we worked on the third floor of that building. Where we worked was an earplug zone, so we never hear the radios. I looked at the time. I said, damn. And my partner, let's say his name was Aaron. I said, damn, Aaron. I said, if we were in that building, we would have been coming down that elevator shaft at that moment, and the doors would have opened up to a room full of sulfuric acid.
Man. Oh.
Don't tell me shit about them risking their lives.
All right,
okay?
that's a fair point. I'll concede that point. Okay, so when you talk about football, it's not government ran or anything like that. It's a private company putting out some entertainment, and people, the public, are paying the networks, the league, and all these people. So if not the players getting that money, who's that money? Who should get that money? In your opinion?
I mean, should that much money be invested into it?
Are you talking about like stadium contracts, whereas people
All that stuff. Should maybe we're glorifying the wrong people.
oh, definitely. But how's that different from like a rapper? If you got 10 million people buy your album and you're out here, spending on frivolous
Yeah, that's
things,
capitalism.
what's the difference in that?
Yeah, I got you. That's capitalism. You're right. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right.
we're in
I
America.
yeah, right. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah.
And I really don't. If I did, I probably wouldn't be doing a podcast from my home.
You
So
know what? I've heard an idea floated out there. It's like, hey man, Mrs. So and so in elementary, middle school, high school, and so on. All of these people contributed, right? How about the owners be forced to, if you want this stadium built here, you make sure all of these schools in this district are taken care of. I'm talking about the teachers, the janitors. I want the janitor to have a daggone, I don't know, 50 an hour or something, man. Because
right.
I'll tell you what, they
Well,
could do it, but it's
I
the
would like
greed.
to see. I would like to see some statistics of how these these arenas and all that stuff affected the city before and after they got there. Like what went up, what went down. Did crime go up? Did crime go down? Did the economy go up? Did it go down? Did it help the restaurants? Did it hurt the restaurants? Like I'd like to see what those statistics
Here's
are.
what they would have you believe, Paco. Or sorry, Mr. Liggins, Demario. So
Yeah.
here's what they'd like to have you believe. Dallas Cowboys built that big, beautiful stadium. I think it's AT&T Stadium or something like that. They charge that to the city. I think it's Arlington still. They charge it to the city. The taxpayers have to pay for all that for a certain time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, then you bring in, because football is only for a short amount of time. Now you got the circus and Disney on Ice. You got
Monster Jam.
Monster Jam is huge. Yeah. So you have all these other events that bring people in, and people are, that's a, like, no offense, to King of the Hill. It's a pretty do nothing town until something's going on in Texas Stadium, and then people flood in there, and they're renting places just for a Cowboys game. They're in hotels, and that it booms. It's sort of tantamount to I believe it's how the solar panels on your house work, right? You pay.
Right.
I mean, you got to get approved. You pay all this money, and you get them on, and then eventually the company starts paying you for contributing to the grid. So but in anything you look at, it's gonna be plus and minuses. But I always hate that comparison that teachers deserve to get paid with the NFL players, not them. Well, stop watching the games. Instead of spending $78 on the Tennessee Titans ticket, knowing they're going to lose by 3, I'm sorry, Titans. Somehow, right? Mariota's going to fumble. Something's going to happen, right? And so instead of you doing that, right? Instead of you doing that, how about you give that to the teachers union? How about you just say, hey, I don't know what y'all got going on, but I've got 12 cases of copy paper. Here's some soap for y'all. Here's some crayons for the kids who couldn't afford to get it. So it's kind of like, you can complain, but what are you actually doing within your own community? Because you can't fix the world until you set your house in perfect order, so to speak. So
that's true.
That's kind of where I land on that.
You're absolutely. And that's why I did stop watching.
Well, there you go. So you make it, and you're doing a lot in the community. You're putting that $200 to use elsewhere, right?
Exactly.
That is wonderful, man.
So and that's not nothing against them.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's cool. That's just somebody else's avenue of stuff.
Right.
And they're not the only overpaid people I feel in the in the world, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? All I can do, this last couple of years have stepped back and looked at things like, I need to do things from a more local standpoint. I can't change the world. And that's the problem. Everyone's like, oh, let's change the world.
Look what's happening in Hong Kong. Like, man, did you see 2 streets away? Nothing against them. I feel for what's happening over there. And, that bombing in, I think, Beirut, I think I saw was, that sent chills down my spine. But at the same time, my wife wakes me up because she heard a pow, pow, pow. Like, is that gun or is that somebody dumpster diving? You got to take care of the nearest threat, I guess. You can feel for people, but I think how you contribute is making sure you're living in a way that isn't harmful and imposing on other people, and it can also
Mhm.
be productive for you and your family. But
Right.
I don't know, who am I? So
Right, right.
you, for me, you're a successful person, right?
Mm,
What do you attribute
I mean,
your success to?
consistency.
Consistency. Oh, I
If
love it.
you, yes, like, and you just have to make smart choices. Like, I don't buy Jordans. I don't, nothing against Michael Jordan. I don't
Yeah.
though. I'm not going out and spending $200-300 on some shoes, man. You
Right.
know, I have a limit. I have a limit. My limit is like $100 on shoes, maybe 120 on some boots, maybe,
But they're useful too.
maybe if I got.
Yeah.
So and like, but most of my shoes and
Hmm.
stuff I buy, and I'm not saying I'm out here Walmarting. I'm not, nothing
Nothing
against
against
that. I
Walmart,
bought shoes.
right? Shout out Walmart. Please pay me.
Yeah, nothing against that. But like I've went and bought shoes from Walmart because I knew I was going to be doing the next thing outside and da da da. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to go to a festival and work a festival, I'm not wearing nice shoes. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be mud and hay and everything.
Hmm.
So I can go get some skateboard looking shoes from
Hey,
Walmart with some
right.
jeans and go out there and tear that shit
My
up.
favorite thing to see in any festival, they used to have the something on the green, something or other, the free concerts that if everybody picks up a piece of
Yeah.
trash, that's how they kind of were able to have these free concerts in Nashville. And my favorite thing to see is these guys wearing their expensive shoes and putting like plastic bags over them. And I'm like, that just defeats the
Right.
purpose. I can't even see what those are.
Right.
Yeah, man.
What are you gonna do? You gonna put some leftovers in
I
there,
mean,
man?
hey,
I don't
maybe
know.
that's what the plan was. Just scoop some of these mashed potatoes and save it for later.
Hmm.
Yeah, consistency.
But no,
Yeah.
when I went to Mardi Gras, and a guy was like, "You can always tell the people who have been here for
Mm.
a while." And I was like, "How can you tell?" And he was like, "Look, see all these people with rain boots
Mm.
on? Those are the people that have been to Mardi Gras for multiple
Yes, and
times."
that's not just for the rain. Oh my
No,
goodness, yeah.
no.
Whew.
And that was real. I had to throw a whole pair of Chuck Taylors
Yeah,
away. No joke. I took them off. I put them in a bag.
yeah.
Okay. I was like, geez, these things are drenched. They're nasty.
Oh my goodness.
I put them in a bag. When I got back to Tennessee and I opened that bag, it looked like, when you cook with butter and you leave butter in the pan to get cold and it's got like that and like fat, it coagulates
Yeah,
around the skillet.
yeah.
That was what was around my
Oh
shoe. And I
man.
was like, that's
Yeah,
disgusting.
something so
Put them
disgusting
away.
from a myriad of different delicious things, right? It could be wing juice, could
Right?
be, I mean, it could be anything. Two things.
It could be in New Orleans. It could be
Yeah, I've been
anything.
to New Orleans a couple times, and never during Mardi Gras, but it was still a party. Two things
Right.
that I took away from that. One, don't go too far down Bourbon, right? But don't
No,
go too far.
no, that's the. It's.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't
do
go. I thought like
that.
I wonder how long this road is, and here I am just wandering around as I am. I'm very whimsical and like, hey, everybody's my friends. Like, nah, nah. Either they're too friendly or
No.
they're definitely not your friend. The other things they don't tell you
Right.
about, man, that smell. This is like,
Oh
what
yeah.
is happening? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was a learning experience. I had
For
fun.
for the listeners that don't know, Bourbon Street goes from like if you start from the French
Mm.
Quarter, Bourbon Street goes from like tourist attraction to very rainbowish to very ghetto.
Yes,
You
and
know what I mean?
I
Like,
traversed through each level, and I was confused. Like, hey, everyone, the rainbow area was very nice. All the dudes were
yeah,
very nice. Like, hey, how you doing? Blah blah. Chat me up. I got bought drinks. I said, this is
yeah.
awesome. Until I realized what was happening, I was like, oh, okay.
Right. Wait a minute.
Oh, what are they doing over there? Oh. And I was like, all right, well, let's keep on
Right.
going. And I literally, like you said, you get far enough down, you're like, oh, I'm about to get shot. I feel like just wandered into a Lil
Yeah.
Wayne video, man. And not the fun kind,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got
No.
something for everybody for sure.
And the best tip I can tell anybody that's going to the French Quarter is do not buy your drinks on Bourbon Street. You can walk one street over,
Yes.
and that drink will be $15
Dude,
cheaper. Long Island iced
yeah.
tea,
Hurricane
$25. I
Punch
was appalled.
was huge.
Yeah.
I had a buddy, and
Yes.
they were. I wasn't even down there with them, but they were having a bachelor party down there when I was there with another friend, and we just bumped into each other.
Hmm.
And I literally was that guy,
Yeah.
like on bourbon, buying drinks. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Come here, like, and we literally like went around the corner and got these. It's just a gallon jug, and it's kind of like a
Yes.
frozen. Like I can't really explain Hurricane Punch to you, but man,
It's
it's great.
like a slushy,
That's
alcoholic
it.
slushy.
Alcoholic slushy. Like the
Yeah.
fun of being a child with all the perks of being an adult. Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Be careful. Gotta respect it though. It's like moonshine in Tennessee, you know. Respect the shine.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right. You never know what you're gonna
Absolutely.
get.
All right. I hear you, Forrest. So, do you use services, back to your business here, do you use services of a professional accountant or attorney? Because I know I've heard this old thing, like if you ever come into money, you hire an attorney and then an accountant in that order. And then you get into your financial advisors and all that other stuff.
Most of the time, your financial advisors and your accountants can be the same people. Only if you don't trust your accountant, you get a financial advisor to go behind your accountant. Any financial advice I really need, I talk to a guy named Michael Key.
Michael Key.
He's out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And I've got, luckily, a buddy of mine growing up became an attorney. So as a kid I grew up with my entire life. I think I maybe got him stoned for the first time and got him laid for the first time.
Shit, okay.
So then he became an attorney, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Right.
You know what
right.
I mean? Like,
oh, a guy who owes me a favor, you know. That's great.
Right. So, that's worked out. Now, would I say he's my attorney? No, he's not my attorney. He's my friend that's an attorney.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I had some shit that might like wreck his career if he lost, I'd go through.
I'm trying to get this full facial wink off the ground here. Just right, both eyes. If you feel silly doing it, you're doing it right. If anybody wants to take that with them, have at it. Yeah. So, what do you look for in, I guess, the ideal? Because do you have any employees, or they're just all business partners, vendors, or how does that work for you?
No, I do everything through subcontracting. Because you never know, like the work isn't consistent enough for somebody to stay on a payroll for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't mean like I don't consistently make money, but there's a lot of things I can do by myself that I don't need you. You know, and there's certain things I can't do that I may need you.
So you more freelance? Would that be an accurate depiction?
Yeah, I try. Let me tell you, the way I keep the tax people off my ass is I keep a job, man. I keep a job that pays taxes. But at the same time, I'm constantly working. But there's so many streams of different things I do. Like I would need if I had a business license for everything I did, I would need 6 business licenses. Right. I need DJ service. I need a video service. I need a photography service. Oh, I need a marketing service. Oh, I did some voice acting for your commercial. Oh, I'm going to need something. You know what I'm saying?
Voice acting. Wow. People sleep on that. I mean, there's some good money to be made there, This
year, I'm going to get into, Forex. I'm going to get into day trading. This year, I'm going to get into closing mortgages.
Oh, wow.
That's something I'm also about doing.
Okay.
So, with these things, I'm trying to find ways for me to make money at home.
Yeah.
If I was to package everything I do into one business, I'd be like, let's just do the Get Money Corporation.
I know you do a lot of local work, man. Do you have any plans on expanding or anything in the works of that nature?
Everything's kind of been put on hold due to COVID, but pre-COVID, we were going to start doing. We have this brand, the tattoo competition was called Shut Up and Eat.
That's what
we're gonna do it. Yeah, because it's shut up and do what you do, and let's see what you're made of. So we were also gonna do a Shut Up and Game, and that was gonna be for gamers. and we were gonna do a shut up and paint, and that was for artists to
Mm-hmm.
compete.
Just
You
a whole
know,
series of different art venues, right?
right? And it's just a celebration, you know, and everyone likes a
Yes.
competition, so everyone pays their money
Mm-hmm.
in, and the winner takes the pot. You know, and people they want us to do like levels like novice and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. No, if you feel like you're good enough to get in the ring and paint with, Picasso,
Show it.
then shut up and put
I
your money
love that
in.
idea,
You
man.
know?
You definitely got to put a pin in that, man. Bring that to the forefront
Yeah,
when all this stuff is over. Like, yeah, because
right.
there was one.
So that was our
Uh huh.
plans. But we've actually taken a turn also. Post COVID, we've decided to dabble our hands in community response, and we're going to do something called
Project
Project
Equals. You want to
Equals.
explain that?
And it's going to, yes, it is adult education for minorities to get us educated on a level of, financial, on a level of, what is the term? Like
Mm.
tech field stuff, like go in and job
Mm-hmm.
shadow. And what is it called? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Where
Nas,
they
yeah.
where you go in, like if you're gonna go in on a trade and like journeyman type of work for like plumbing and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
different
like
type of trade work.
the HVAC
So
stuff and all that, right?
just all of it, man. And try and provide means for minorities to be able to go in and say, okay, I didn't know that I didn't have to go to school to be a plumber. I could just go, and then we'll have a plumber come in, and you can go in and you
Oh
know what I mean.
man,
If they agree to take you on, you go, and you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if you've looked at these numbers, but these plumbers are making $30 an hour.
dude, I'm telling you now, I'm doing a bit of a tease for another show that I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
doing with Tony Richard. You know, shout out Tony Richard, and
Right,
we were really talking about kind of building a well balanced human being. You know,
right.
what does that look like? Where do we kind of lose some value systems, and where how can we get back to it? And we really landed on, of course, education, but what to educate about, right?
Right.
So this turn that we had from blue collar work, like a plumber or like a HVAC worker and things like that, plant
Mm-hmm.
worker, that type, or more things where you're building houses with your own hands and things like that.
Right.
How when did we start looking down on that type of work, and it was like, I'm gonna get into this, I'm gonna get in the rap game, I'm gonna be an NBA, NFL player, or I'm gonna work at
Right.
GM. McDonald's, people looking down on you, like, man, that's a job,
My
it's
buddy makes
something.
$14 an hour working at McDonald's.
Wow.
He makes $14 an hour.
Yeah.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. He's
I'm
loving
loving it.
it.
Yeah.
I can't knock him. I can't knock
It's
him for it.
something, man. It's something. I guarantee you they're not gonna do a raid and arrest you, right?
Daycare workers don't make $14 an hour.
Really? I
The
thought they
one
were making more.
daycare worker make about $10 an hour, bro.
Boy, I need to holler at your daycare system. I know ours got to be getting paid more. How much we have to
No,
pay?
they collect more money, but
Yeah,
them nice ladies
yeah.
that are down there watching them badass kids are not making nothing but about 10
Wow.
bucks an hour. Most of them take the job because they've got children
Mm,
of their own that they might not want to part with, or they might not,
wow.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? They might have to meet the hours of the school, and they know that the kid can just come right over to the daycare,
Hmm.
be there with them. Yeah, so
Wow.
McDonald's employees are making more than the people that take
That's
care of your
crazy. You
kids.
know what the problem is, man? People like Brad Fitzpatrick taking all the money.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you need to put together some sort of plan to get some seats for all these crime scenes, right? Maybe start a show or something where you just follow around different officers and I don't know, the life in the
No, they
firemen, and
canceled Cops. You don't remember that? They just canceled
which is
Cops. That
sad. Come
that
on.
was the
Okay.
show.
Okay, you got two black guys here. All right. What's your opinion on that? Because I know for me, I know where I stand, but like, I don't. I think that was bad. You know,
No.
Like we used to cheer for
Here's the
like, oh
thing.
look, he about to skate, about to skate. Look, he jumped. Oh, they got him. You know, it was like, well, yeah,
If
we
I was
saw what
on
he
a
did.
production company and if I was that production company and they
Mm,
canceled cops due to that, I
mm.
would totally flip it and just follow gangbangers. Cops would turn to Crips. You know what I mean? And like that's what we would be doing.
Oh
We're
my
doing
goodness.
Crips on Viceland. You
Crips
know,
on Viceland, man. Oh
we're
man,
gonna see the
Viceland was
same
crazy.
cops.
The
We're gonna
same
see the
cops.
same cops from a different angle.
Wait, oh, the cops are actually turning into Crips? Is that what we're going with?
No,
Oh,
just
okay.
think when you were watching Cops,
Oh,
they're chasing
yes.
the people
Yeah,
with the cops.
yeah.
Now we gonna be running with the Crips.
I mean, dude, like, I can distinctly remember a dude coming out, shirt off, got a hammer in his hand, waving it around. Look, dude not getting shot. He's
No,
trying to be, they're trying to talk him down and blah, blah, blah. And they finally get him and it's a little tussle. And he gets handcuffed and they, take him on. And then they pass it on to the courts, right?
right.
I think, man, I don't think that was necessarily police brutality, man. I'll tell you what, some of those dudes could scoop. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
yes, they some
Oh,
runners. Boy.
oh my goodness.
And
Yeah.
then the worst part about it is they catch them and they put them in jail. No, you need to put them over there in track and field
Yeah.
in the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, we'll have a work release program where you run for America. How about that?
Right.
Look, we'll get together and figure out all that, man.
Right.
So, with all the different things you do, what is the most interesting and unique part about your job?
The the people, like the adventures you go on and the people you meet. Like somebody could call you. I'm gonna run you through a scenario. Like the phone rings. Hey, I've got this studio session going on in Nashville. I want you to come up and film. And it's like, okay, all right, another studio session. They send you the address. So I pull up. I don't find the place. My GPS is like, it's right here. It's right here. And I'm looking. I'm like, there is nothing right here. There's a patch of woods, some houses in a rural urban area. I'm like, where is this place at? I call the guy. He comes stepping out of the woods, like the woods area, and
like
I'm like,
woods.
And I'm like, what is going on over here? And he's like, no, come down here, leave your car parked on the street. And there's actually a pathway, like a little driveway. It's tiny, and I never could see it. And I walk down, and I've walked into like this hippie community where there's people living in like school buses and like tents and all this stuff. And there's 100-year-old bamboo all the way, like that's huge, 20 foot in the air. And I round a corner, and there's a mansion that these people have acquired, and all these hippies are living in the mansion, and they come in and out, and they go in and eat, and they've got a grand piano in the yard getting rained on next to the fire pit, and they're playing piano, and like it was insane. This was East Manor Studios in Nashville.
East Manor Studios,
and like it was something like that. And I would have never known that was there ever. I could have drove down that street 100 times and never saw this. And it was just a big community, and they all rented the stuff out and rented rooms out, and like it was huge, but it was a beautiful place. And there was so many, like, you could tell there's a lot of stories out of that place.
Bet, man.
And stuff like that, adventures like that all the time. I got invited to Nashville one time to a party to take pictures, and they're like, "You just walk into Laser Quest, turn to your left, and punch this code in." So I walk in there, I punch the code in, the door opens, it's an elevator, and then I hit the button to go up to the next floor, and there's this huge loft party that overlooks the Titan Stadium and the water, and like. Yes, and I'm like, what is it? I didn't know people lived above Laser Quest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's like some janky stuff,
like,
man.
So I'm looking at this stuff, dude, and it's crazy, the architecture of it. So, like when we go to apartments, we walk through the aisleways, like we walk through the hallways, and there's an apartment. Picture like almost like a hotel. You got a hotel room over here and a hotel room over here, and you think that these are apartments. And they're like, okay, there's an apartment over here, over there. So you think that's an apartment and that's an apartment. But these lofts were so big, they were the same apartment, The hallway is built through the people's
Oh
apartment,
man.
and they've got stairways to walk over the hallway to get to the other side. And they've got, yeah, it was crazy. It was huge. It was amazing,
Hashtag
Jeremy.
goals, man. Holy crap.
Right.
So
So those
yeah,
adventures, what is the most awesome part of the shit I do?
that is awesome, man. Well, isn't it strange though how like the best slash worst places are the places that like I would have never known this was here, you know? Yeah.
Exactly.
We have a couple of parks off of our apartment. And you know, we frequent them a lot and we were in I had a client who lives like closer to the mountain, more expensive it gets, basically. And so we're driving around, and he had a doctor's appointment. I was like, "What is this raggedy lot over here to the side?" And he was like, "I don't know." You know, so after his appointment, you know, I'm just a very curious person, so I just wander over, and you drive to a point, and then kind of crest over this hill, and then you see, shoom, giant park. I mean, they got a park, like a park for all age groups, a skate park. They got wall ball, tennis courts and stuff, giant field, just everything. Like we stayed there long enough to where we could see them. You know, we had the young kids came out and they were doing this whatever the Star Wars. You know, I mean, it was lightsabers, but I don't know what the group is called. They're called something, to where they just get together and they choreograph these fights, and then lights go out. They got the costumes on and they're going through and filming it. I was just like, cool. Like, where am I right now?
Where was this?
Well, first off, probably hidden behind, you know, a janky looking field. Like you had to be from there to know it was there, or stumble upon it like I did.
Right.
You know, so I can imagine, man.
Right.
That hippie thing sounds like what was that? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, though, some Charles Manson stuff. You know, where they took over.
No, it was. I know that sounds dangerous, but no, they were really.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let them go out like that, because if I didn't have kids, bro, I might have went and rented me a room up there just to have a room, man.
No,
we'll talk
I don't
about
even
that
think
later.
that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, you know, it's always that one or two groups that kind of mess it up for the rest of them, right? But like just how Charles Manson like took over a whole ranch and just had a bunch of people living there and just slowly turning them.
It was kind of. Yeah, I loved it though. They were nice. They were cool.
To meet them.
Okay. Discovering hidden gems. All right. Let me tell you this. I went to a shoot and we were looking for graffiti art. Okay. And I found some. And I was like, look, we're going to pull up in here. We're going to ask these people if we can shoot in front of their building that's got this graffiti art. This is in Columbia, Tennessee. Okay. So we walk up and the daughter approaches us. She's got like a flat bill cap on and like a wife beater and stuff. And she's like, well, you come in here and talk to my dad. So we're walking through there and there's these huge movie set, huge, like things being built. And come to find out, in Columbia, Tennessee, they build like things for Disney and like play sets and stuff, huge. So what they do is they use foam and they spray it all out, and they apply the epoxy to it.
What's epoxy?
You know, well, they shape it first, like the stuff fiberglass and stuff like that. Yeah. So they spray them out. They spray out these huge things. They shape them into all the different shapes and sizes, and then they paint them, and then they do the epoxy and fiberglass that makes them kind of hard, plasticky feeling, you know. And they build like huge tree houses, like things for sets in movies, like shit you would see. And when I walked through there, they had one for Moana, and it was a big wave that me and 10 people could have fit in, walked in, and it had the fish and the everything. And I was like, what the fuck is this? You know? Yes. And like, why would you, like, the shipping cost on this alone would probably be cheaper to live in LA, you know? But that's what they do. And they do this in Columbia, and they built their home above the warehouse they work. And it's fucking fantastic. Can you imagine living, like, your dad makes like fantasy sets? So can you imagine what the home must look like?
Like the custom built stuff, like, you know, it's just for you, little Jimmy. Only you have this, like, that's,
Yes. Like, here's a whole Ewok village from
You're
Star
right.
Wars in your
Man,
room, and you've got a rope
that's
bridge
a
and
different
shit, bro.
childhood, right? Like, oh, you like Aladdin? Hold on, let me just build
Yes.
the Sultan's palace for you, man. God,
Right. Oh, here's the cave
wonders,
of
right? Yeah, Cave
Alibaba
of
or whatever it
Wonders. Yeah.
was. A
Oh
cave
my
of
God,
wonders. Yeah,
man.
there it is.
You
So,
got the gong working. Oh my
right. Finally,
goodness.
right.
That seems like a fun
So,
job. So that's
but
probably
yeah,
what you're talking about when you're saying like I only do passion projects. I do stuff that interests me. Yeah. But there's always
right.
a yin yang thing. So
Right.
what's your scariest moment on a job?
Scariest moment on job. Anytime I film rappers in a music video and 10 of them have guns pointed at the camera. Like, that's a
Like
real
I gotta
thing.
be off camera,
Anybody
like,
who's
all
ever
right,
filmed,
towards the camera, right? At least that way if there's one accidentally
right,
loaded and accidentally discharges, it's just the camera we gotta replace. You can't replace the captain, man. Yeah.
right. I mean, I'm in
Yeah.
there though. I'm in it. Like, I'm in it. I'm like, like, and I'm just pray,
Right.
just faith, bro.
Well, look, just send them to me. I'll talk to them. Like, hey guys, look, you never aim a weapon at
Right,
something unless you wish to destroy it, right? Some rule like that. The 4 big
right,
rules in guns. We really need to go over that kind of stuff too, man. One of these days. That's another.
right. So for me and these, most of the time, I provide a
Mm,
lot of the guns for the shoots and the rappers.
yeah.
I mean, you got some guns, and I'll be
Mm.
like, "What are you looking for?" Like, what kind
Oh
of
man.
guns do you need? So, but
I know
for me
for.
though, a
Oh, go ahead.
scarier
Sorry.
point. No, you're fine. A scarier point would be I don't know. Anytime the police come up to a shoot, it's pretty scary. Like, even if we're not doing anything illegal, it's like at any point this could turn bad.
Mm.
They can be like, "What is that?" They can think my camera's a gun. I've
Right.
had angry
Oh yeah.
I've had
Wow.
angry husbands, contact me about shoots their wives did for them that they paid for. Like,
Right.
is you never know. You never know what's gonna happen, man.
Like on some why you shoot my wife type stuff or.
Yeah, just you think you're somebody who took them pictures, or you need to delete them pictures of my wife. And I'm like, your
Mm.
wife's paid to have these pictures done for you.
For you, right?
For you, bro.
Mm.
Like, don't be mad they came to me. So
Maybe
I
with
don't
I don't know how to deal with that type of dude, right? Like, be more appreciative. But getting back to the guns thing, maybe you start how like you have your tattoo competition. You start
uh-huh.
this thing to where gun safety competition. Who can reload, unload the appropriate way, and all this kind of stuff. I know when I was like
Right.
I drill sergeant, like not for military or anything like that. I was a corrections officer for a time, and we had a
Mm-hmm.
legit drill sergeant, and they were very strict, right? Like the magazines or magazines, they're not clips. You call them clips. As a group, we had to do like 50 push-ups a pop. It's like
Oh
reloading.
wow.
Hey, give me another clip. Let's go. Drop them. Let's get it. So we're
Right.
getting some shape, man, because everyone is thinking the Hollywood stuff, right? But
Right.
them talking about where to aim and all this, and when you're handing off, you never trust someone else's handoff. You're always checking that thing because once it's in your hands, you're responsible for it. So
Right.
I don't know. That's just the idea we'll throw out there.
It's something to think, man. I've got just a guy to talk to about doing like a gun safety competition.
Yes.
So good idea.
Yeah,
Good
man.
idea.
I saw somebody on Facebook, right, who's trying to get something going with NRA. I think that'd be a
Yeah.
good class. I can't remember his name.
We've actually got a hold on. I'll tell you what it's called too.
Yes, please.
It's a Black gun owners group now. Yeah, Black Gun Owners Association. There's a Columbia, Tennessee chapter. I am a member of this. So right now it's got 26 members. So just check it out.
Yeah, man. Good on you. So you do so much, and then you have your beautiful children. You got the lady there, all this stuff. How does someone like you how do you balance business with personal life?
I don't. That's probably the downfall of my life. It's the downfall.
Wow.
Right now, I'm here doing this with you. I've gotten text messages from a lady. I've gotten a call from my daughter's mom, and Like it's all kind of things. It's not. That is the trick.
Mm.
So generally what I try and do is incorporate, whoever I'm seeing or dating into one of these ventures in some form or fashion so we can go out and do these things together. And then after a gig,
Mm-hmm.
man, let me tell you, there's nothing like celebrating after a gig. You get
Yeah.
paid,
Yeah.
you have a nice, like, me and her, we did a video shoot together.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, we went to Drake's and we had, I mean, she can't have drinks. She's pregnant, but, I had drinks and we had a nice meal.
Get us some wings. Man,
Right.
I'm craving them.
I love
it.
Yeah. We've made money and now we're out here celebrating. So
well, you say that's a downfall, but you sound like you got a pretty good ideal moving forward at least.
It doesn't work with everybody.
Yeah,
not everybody is. You would think somebody that loves music would be interested in taking my DJ equipment and DJing an event. Mm-hmm. But then you find out they only love heavy metal. Oh. So they're at a hip hop event without a clue what to do,
Oh, I see.
So, then you fucked.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because I know I'm blessed to have my wonderful producer because I remember you talking about how you work with some people who like, I got 10 ideas and man, we're going to do this, this, and you go, okay. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? That's what my producer is for me because I was like, man, we got to do all of this stuff. And she was like, how about you do this one thing, And, taking an interest, shared interest and pushing each other. I know I push her buttons all the time, but she's got another next level patience. And I think it's going to be really fun, step into these very deep waters of very shallow people.
Right. Has she ever considered maybe being a personality with you?
I have been begging, but there are some, as I said, some other job things that are currently blocking it because she is climbing this ladder, relatively quick.
Let her stay in her lane. If she's successful doing what she's doing, let her stay in her lane. Don't drag her out.
I just want to take the time. I want to let that soak in. Let her stay in her lane. Like, I have the choice. Like, I'm over here like, you can keep the job that's basically, keeping us going, right? Allow me to do stuff like this.
Don't nag her into it. Sometimes we're like, you should do this. You should do this. You should do this. And then all of a sudden... and everything is all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So,
oh man,
like when I say let her stay in her lane, just don't even bother her. When she's ready to cross over, she'll cross over.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I don't know why I whispered it like she's not on the other side of the table.
Right.
All right. So, how do you choose whom to interview and involve in, like, I guess specifically Who That Podcast? Because I like how you got your money months and you want to kind of explain that a little bit and then go through the process of choosing people, booking people, and what to do if they cancel on you last minute.
Okay. So originally when we started the podcast, it was finding people who had unique lifestyles and lived different ways. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, like, if you were a fire dancer, or we even had a sex trafficker on one time, ex-sex trafficker. In the jail and stuff. And then, it was really one of those things where it was like, I was just out there in the community because the fire dancer is going to know somebody that's a contortionist and the contortionist is going to know somebody that's, an actor. And it's about networking. And I'd find people that just had unique things. And in the beginning, I used to book 2 people at a time because I always knew one person was going to cancel. Sometimes they both showed up. Sometimes one showed up one time. Sometimes the other person showed up. So it was a crap.
How do you handle that situation? Just, all right, half the show can be you, half the show can be the other person?
Yep.
Oh.
Exactly.
Double book.
I mean, just, you just do it, man. Just get out there and do it and make those lemons into lemonade, So now with the podcast, really America is writing the narrative for us in a sense. We're doing Money Month right now. That was our idea. That was something we came up with because what we're doing is we're ramping up for Project Equals. So we are secretly interviewing people that could be involved in helping people with learning, financial literacy and adult education. What's the best way to do that? Have a bunch of guests on who are already in the financial industry. See what they know, who they know, see if they want to be a part of it. It's a good way to talk to them and feel them out. So before that, we're having America write this narrative of things going on. So it makes it real easy to know what topics and what people to target because we've got all this going on in the country. Oh, everything's political right now. So we've had 5 politicians in different positions,
Yeah.
So it's been interesting. It's been real interesting. So after Money Month, when September rolls around, I think I'm going to, in the month of September, have some of the most controversial people on our show.
More than the
and I don't mean
Boogaloo
controversial
Boys?
in like, oh, well, he's a pedophile.
Oh, right.
I mean people that are really online stirring shit up, And I'm gonna give them a platform to really stir some shit up in September.
Are we talking about like the?
And then,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, your social media warriors that have 1,000 people commenting because they're stirring shit up. It's just. You'll see. It'll be petty people.
Ooh, I can't wait. I'll be there. I've become such a huge fan of your show. Yeah.
And then late September into October, I'm gonna roll into a couple like people who do like ghost tours and stuff like that to ramp up Halloween because I feel like this Halloween is not gonna be great because of COVID. So I want to keep people high in the spirit of Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays by doing stuff over the platform. So
how do you promote?
We might even deliver Halloween gift baskets out to people and stuff.
Oh, see, that's nice. Because here's what concerns me about this virus thing is the heat was supposed to put a bit of a lid on it. And then it was supposed to help get the numbers down. And then once the fall flu seasons and it gets cooler. So when we hit that second wave and it spikes during that time period, it won't be as bad, but I don't know, man. That seems rough. Like they're trying. Like the schools here are looking into we'll wait till Labor Day, see what happens, and then make a decision. But they've given even they're in Murray County, they're giving all the kids Chromebooks because I feel like somebody up the ladder knows something's gonna go awry. So let's get them prepared. Make sure they have.
Let me tell you how that's working out now in Murray County with the Chromebooks. Yeah. So, several reports of people receiving Chromebooks that are broken that aren't working. There's also reports of people going to pick up their Chromebooks and they're letting them know they're out, and they will have to let them know when they come in, and they will not be able to start their online curriculum until they receive it. They will not be held accountable for this, but until then, they're just on a wait.
Yeah. I just don't know, man. Like, you can't say we're the greatest country, richest, most powerful, most brilliant, innovative country in the history of the world. And then like, oh, yeah, come back next Friday. I get the rent. Like, how do you not have the numbers and then just have this stuff ready to go? And then backups on top of the backups in case stuff like this happens. Right. Like, who's planning this stuff? And it's not just Columbus. It's not just Murray County.
No, it's
everywhere.
It's not. We're just speaking from what we know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, I got the Chromebook. It won't power on. It won't charge. And then there's a lot of people that's like, yeah, we didn't get the Chromebook, and we're going to be notified when we can get it. So your child is just sitting at the house chilling now. Chilling.
Hey, me and Dean actually were talking on the show about how things kind of worked here. Because he asked the question, do you think we would have done any school? How would we have done if the coronavirus hit back when we were in school? And, we only had a handful of people who had that kind of technology. I said, dude, they threw, my producer just waved like, me? I did not. So I was keeping the balance, But they literally threw on PBS like, hey, if you in this grade to this grade, tune in at this time. And that's how they were kind of doing it until they got the remote situation under control and the Zoom and all that stuff. But I feel like I really want people to stop saying like, oh, we got too many people in America. Oh, it's because of this. Like, no. Time for excuses are over, man. Come up with something. There's too many brilliant minds here. I mean, we stole in the World War II. We stole a lot of brilliant minds. Like, maybe pay attention to other places and see what's working and see how you could calibrate it for a country so big. You know, don't give me that
Right.
like, oh, well, they can do it in New Zealand, but over here it's 300 million people, and how are you going to do? Figure it out. What are we paying you for? Like
Right.
our
Right.
leaders, like
Absolutely.
we're giving you a salary for the rest of your lives, whether you win the next election or not. I'm gonna need you to step it
Right.
up here, buddy. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. You figure they'd account for at least the number of students they had, and half of that number, like more. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you had 200 students,
Mm.
you know, you do 300 laptops total because half the students are gonna fuck it up,
Right.
and then like halfway through that, and then they have to pay for them laptops too, man. Like they're not buying them; they're giving them out. But if something happens to them, I think it's like $300 you got to pay for that laptop.
Ooh.
And here's the problem with that.
Yeah.
The problem with that is obviously if they're handing out something that's not even powering on, that this stuff is used. And these products in these laptops they're not set to last forever. You only got so many clicks on a mouse. You only have so many file transfers on a hard drive. You're getting something used and the hard drive goes out, guess what? You have to pay for it, and you didn't get the full capacity because that shit was used.
Oh my goodness,
you know?
Wow, and there's only so much refurbishing you can do, right?
Right,
Jeez.
right.
Well, like I said, America, step it up, man. We can do this.
Yeah.
So we're getting towards the end here, but just like those old preachers would say, like, I'm closing, But
right.
If you had one piece of advice for someone just starting out, what would you give them?
In the podcast industry?
I mean, you got your photography, you got your video. I mean, you do so much.
Let's do podcasts because this is what we do. Okay, something I would give them. Okay, I would tell them first and foremost, at least run your test like 5 or 6 times, like the full test, before you jump out and just do this. I'm sure, Jeremy, you had those days you came to our studio and running your own. Those 5 and 6 tests are really important because you're going to encounter different things every time you boot that system up to record. I'm sure you have encountered those yourself. The biggest thing I would tell people, record like 5 episodes before you would even publish it, because that puts you 5 weeks. If you're doing weekly, that puts you 5 weeks ahead of time where you can work out the kinks and record the next one and next one. So you want to bank 5 real episodes to air before you air anything, because then you're not pressed. Now, if your show has to talk about current events and stuff like that, that's time sensitive, that's one thing. But at the same time, those first 5 episodes, you're not going to have listeners for shit, no way. And if you do, you're already a celebrity in some sort of other way. You know what I mean? You're Nicole Byers or something like that. You know what I'm saying? People are right. It's already anticipating these.
I didn't want to say her name 3 times. I feel like she may pop up and have a ridiculous point.
Right. So give yourself time to stretch it out, because you're going to have to find guests. You're going to have to find people to be a part of it. You're going to have marketing schemes, and you're going to have to find places and groups on Facebook that are topic related for you to share your podcast to. So record 5 episodes, buy yourself 5 weeks to play around, and you can upload them and you can set them to publish on the dates you need. And in those 5 weeks, record 2 episodes, do some research, add yourself to some groups, all that.
So you can upload and set to publish.
Yeah, you can set it to publish.
That's awesome, man.
I have 2 shows that I filmed that have 3 episodes apiece right now that are probably set to publish. You know what I'm saying? They're set to publish. They're already shot and edited, and they're just waiting. When the date hits, it's gonna go up.
That's awesome, man.
So
that is awesome. Well, I appreciate you for coming on and spending so much time with us, man. This has been really cool. Do you have any promotions? Anything you want to get out there? I mean, I guess by the time this rolls out, if I follow your very good advice here, it may be null and void, but just something that you're doing in the future here.
Go subscribe to the Who Dat podcast.
Yes.
It's the owl logo. You'll see it, not to be confused with the New Orleans Saints.
I wanted to
Okay,
ask
it's the
about
Who
that
Dat
too.
podcast.
Yeah.
Right. You can go on Facebook, look up the Who Dat podcast. You can go on any platform except for iHeartMusic. We're not on iHeartMusic, but any of the other podcast platforms you can go on and you can find all our information. Just look up the Who Dat podcast, look for the Steampunk Owl, and there we are. We on Facebook, we go live for our show on Sundays around between 5:30, 6 p.m. Central Time. So you can check us out there. We've got a shop with merchandise. You can get your Who Dat hoodies. This is my niggas gone intergalactic hoodie. Oh,
yeah, you got the fashion line coming out, right?
Well, it's not it's merchandise.
It's merchandise.
I don't have a fashion line. Yeah. It's merchandise. Studio 65. That's my production company. Check them out. The Real Film Tales of Bike Life.
Miss
Dixie. Show. Yes,
Yeah.
they'll be on our show Sunday. But if you can look up Raven Dixie and The Real Film Tales of Bike Life, that's a show about female bikers. Check them out. Jeremy, reach out to them. They're doing podcasts right now.
Awesome. I will.
Okay. Yeah. Promo stuff. Chef Jules. I'm producing a show for her, Chef Jules. It's called Slice of Life. It's 1 minute segments. This is 1 to 2 minute segments that she's given us about her life and what's going on. The first episode premieres tomorrow.
Oh, that's awesome. What time?
I have to look, but it's on YouTube. It's on our YouTube, on Studio 65's YouTube. And if you are part of the podcast or you subscribe to the podcast page, we will promote it there also. I make sure everything is interlinked. Anything I'm a part of, it's going to get promoted there. So you're not bombarded with just me all day. You know, my clients, my friends, everybody, they're getting it, you know?
Right. Well, man, I truly appreciate you, man. I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate you spending so much time with me.
Oh, man. Anytime. Come check out What the Frap, you know? Hold on. Wait. I can do a drop. I'm going to do a drop. This is the captain of the SS Who Dat, Demario, Captain Crunch, the Who Dat podcast. Check us out on Sundays, anywhere online. And I'm here with What the Frap with your homie J-Zilla.
Hey!